As you guys know, I previously watched the first episode of Squid Game Season 2 on my channel, and I really enjoyed it. I thought the idea was super interesting of seeing what the life is like after someone finishes the games, and I understood that it was taking the pathway of being a revenge plot. But what I didn't suspect was that we would see the return of player 456, and that intrigued me. You know, I honestly was not too sure if I was going to finish the entire series after watching the first episode, because though it seemed super cool after the first episode, I wasn't too sure if I'd pull all the way through. It seemed interesting, but I wasn't too sure if I was completely sold on all the outside work and all of that. But then I saw him form his team and heard that he wanted to go back into the games, and I was on board. Thank you for watching, and consider subscribing or commenting down below your opinions on the season. Let's talk. I'm going to mispronounce names this entire video, so you don't have to remind me. I'm well aware. I'm sorry. But Junho finally meets with Jihyun after the unfortunate game of Russian roulette that commenced in his apartment with the recruiter. They find out that they have a common ground and decided to work together to try to find the island and the people who run the games. This episode introduces us to characters we see later on in the show, showing us them being broke and why they need the games, etc, etc. One of these characters is a lady who eventually does join, but not in a typical fashion. We see her load up into a shipping container at night. Weird, because last season it was a van that picked them up and then gassed them so they don't know where they're at. Maybe they got some budget upgrades. That Netflix paycheck be hitting. We think that until we see her enter room 11 and dresses up in a red suit and a black face mask. She's gonna be a killer. Jihyun and the team rig his mouth with a tracker in his tooth, and he pretty much throws himself in a limo where they talk to the frontman through a piggy bank. Jihyun tells him he has to put an end to the games, then shortly after he is gassed after accepting to return to the island. And that concluded the third episode. At this point, I was pretty much completely bought in. I was excited to see the new games and all the changes they had made. I figured since this is now the second time they've hosted them, the changes have to be crazy. But then it hit me. They have definitely had these games going on for longer than 2 times, which is odd to me because you would think that the word would spread. But then I also remembered that Jihyun has been told repeatedly over and over again that he should have got on the plane. Even in the next following episodes, he's told that he should have boarded that plane. I don't know where the plane takes them, but something to think about. I see the vision. Episode 4. Junho and his team have a location on Jihyun, and they go to search for him. We then hear classical music blasted through the speakers as Jihyun wakes up in a bunk bed surrounded by green tracksuits. We in there, baby. The manager states how the games will work, and he is told that after every game you have the freedom to leave if the majority chooses to do so. Everyone here is in debt, so you win a game, you get money. Seems simple enough. Now, if you're wanting a deep dive into every episode and every character and what they bring to the dynamic of all the other characters, this video is not it. It would take me so long to talk about everything that I'd want to with every character. Yeah, it would take me forever. I'm a professional yapper. But what I will say is I do love the dynamics that they all brought this season. The antagonists seemed convincing enough and were annoying, and the good guys were sweet and you cheered them on. And yes, from this point forward, we'll be talking about heavy spoilers. So if you don't want it spoiled, save this video for later, and I strongly suggest you go watch it because it does not take that long to finish. Now, the mom and the son, I think, was an awesome addition. I loved all of that. The son breaking down after leaving his mom at the carousel game was really... I love how it played out. I loved seeing how he reacted to it and him like not wanting to do that, but like kind of being forced, but he kind of just like, you know, it was awesome. I also loved the plot of the pregnant lady. I mean, that's scary as shit. I also felt sorry for Hyunju. I was pissed whenever she decided to betray the team and vote to play another game, but then you remember, I mean, we're all here for a reason. She voted to play another game because the same reason that Jihyun wanted to play another game in the last season. So, I mean, you know, there's that. But I will say I don't like how she did it. So, that sucked. I also figured that the mom was gonna die at some point through this series, but I was pleasantly surprised whenever this season took the opportunity to do things that are least expected, and I'll leave it at that. We get our IDs taken and we go to our first game. red light, green light. Pretty much during this, Jihan breaks down the stakes of this game, and he tells everyone that you will die if you fail. They think he's insane. They laugh at him until someone gets shot. Then, I mean, they still kind of laugh at him and think he's insane, but they listen. We also find that we don't have a tracker on us anymore. Our tooth is gone. The tracker's been taken out, so we're left here to rot pretty much. We play throughout the whole game, and we find out that there's a red suit that's supposed to not be killing some certain people, but she does anyway. This happens to be number 11, and she's told not to play the hero, and she tells him to piss off pretty much. Then during the games, Jihan just helps everyone out. He's there to try to save everybody. And I think that's really cool. I'm excited to see what he does in all the other further games. We go back to vote. The vote ends up being a draw until number 001 comes, and it ends on us playing another game. This person happens to be the front man, but they don't know that. We know that, and the higher ups know that, and that's it. So it seems that every game, like every not like season, but you know, every time they host a game, one of the owners or workers play along. Last season it was the old man, this season it's the front man. I don't know why, but I'm sure probably in the next season we'll learn. Episode 4. This is the best episode yet. We meet more of the players, and there's more alliances forming. We start being more and more friends with Inho, is his name. Don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but which is the front man. Yeah, we just meet more of the characters, alliances. It's cool. There's kind of some butting heads on people wanting to listen to Jihan. Some of them don't believe him. Within our group, we don't know if we should tell everybody, if we just let him play the game. There's butting heads going on. But eventually we get it figured out. Jihan and the front man are starting to be buds. And then we go to Six Legs. This game is pretty much a race. You form a group with 6 people, you get tied to them. Each individual person does a game. First to finish wins. If you don't finish, or if you're too late, you get shot. This game is stressful. I loved watching it. I love Squid Game in general is really good at keeping you on the edge of your seat while you're watching these games. They make you feel like you're actually there with them. Obviously, as you can probably assume, we kick ass. The other good guys also win, and it's dope. We run right through it pretty much. It's definitely a feel-good scene until our opponents across the way die. That was sad. Kind of a vibe kill, but we keep it pushing. I 100% would have been gunned down during this game. There's no shot I'm winning almost any of these. I feel like I could probably do the dice toss one. I could probably do the stone throw one after a couple of tries. The paper slam, I don't know about that, but everything else I think I would have to lock in to do it. And I don't know if I can lock that in considering the stressful environment that I'd be in. So, RIP. A lot of people died, but also a lot of people won. So we go to vote again. The majority of the people wanted to play another game, so of course we go to bed and play another one the next morning. Meanwhile, our outsider are still looking because they have found no leads to where Jihan is. It's definitely Gihan, right? I said Jihan. I've been saying, whatever, I'm not gonna change it. I told you guys I'm probably gonna mispronounce all these. The next game is the carousel merry-go-round type game. It's pretty much musical chairs. You gotta sort up in some groups. Whoever doesn't have enough group members, they get shot. Everyone left outside gets shot. Kind of an unfortunate game. Scary for sure. This scene was awesome as well. I was scared that the mom was gonna die. Luckily she didn't. But a lot of backstabbing in this game. It's definitely the backstabbing part of the series. It's also just an intense bloodbath. It's a scary game. I wouldn't want to play it, but I would say probably Six Legs so far is my favorite, but this one is a very, very close second. Then after we return, we vote again. Meanwhile, the sailing crew found a weird looking door on an island that looked mysterious. So they load up to go check it out. They open the door and a bomb goes off. I don't know, even before they opened it, I was like, oh, you watch out for bombs, and lo and behold. This, however, only takes 1 life and another person is injured, but they all seem to have no consequences with that, which is kind of weird. The voting, however, comes to a tie, so we have to wait till the next morning to re-vote. Later on, this leads to a fight of people trying to intimidate other people, you know, vote yes, vote no, all that. Big fight breaks out. People start dying, and then they realized what they were given for lunch has some good utensils for assassinating people. We got glass bottles, we got forks. So it's pretty abundantly clear that the higher ups are wanting people to die. Because remember, if more people die, then the prizes go up. And then you have a way bigger chances of winning the vote. So, of course, night rolls around and people start dying. With this being said, Gi-hun, the gang form a plan, which leads us to episode 7. When the fight will happen, we will hide, play dead, and then whenever the guards eventually come to, calm down the fight, which takes forever, on purpose, of course, they will check their IDs and their chip, and whenever they get close enough, we will take their guns, storm upstairs, and take over the games, putting into it at all cost. And this goes smoothly. We get the guns. But with this victory, there was a big loss of a lot of characters dying and people that we grew to like. We then cut to the boys back on the ship. While a crewmate is getting sick, we see the captain is tampering with the drones. Odd. Turns out the captain is malicious and he kills one of the crewmates and throws them overboard, and none of the other crewmates know this at all. With all the guns and the dead soldiers in our arsenal, we gather a group of other players and we decide to get a team to go up. Not a lot of people joined, but a couple do. Maybe like 10, 12, maybe. After a long sequence of running around, getting into gunfights, looking for the control room, Daeho, who was an ex-Marine, gets scared and he starts freezing up. I think for a lot of people, they might have thought that this meant that he never was in the Marines, but I don't think that because he has a tattoo. I think he was just traumatized and just wasn't liking all that. He's set to go on a mission to get some more magazines because obviously we run out of ammo pretty fast. So he goes back downstairs to get some more ammo and never returns. The next time we see him is whenever Hyunju goes to look for him, and she finds him back in the room with all the other players that stayed in the bunk bed room. I don't know, main room for them. And he's in a corner, scared, in the dark. We see Inho with us and they separate into a different group to try to attack the guards from the back, and he returns back as the front man. He kills both of our guys, and he betrays us. With this, we surrender. The front man kills Ji-hun's best friend, Jungbae, and Ji-hun is kept alive. And then they roll credits. And then we see a little glimpse of another big boy doll, which looks kind of creepy, and it was filled with other players. Pretty sure they're all new players, so I think we're led to believe that another game has started. Now, there is a lot I left out in this show. A lot. And I don't even know completely if I all made sense in most of the descriptions. I wanted it to be a little bit more memory recall, what stuck out to me as far as the pacing goes. I assume that most of you had already watched it, considering it's like, one of the biggest shows out right now. But yeah, this is basically just for a simple recap. Now, for my opinion. I don't think I'm cool with this ending. I don't know if I even really like it that much. I feel like obviously they try to, cut it off right at the like middle, right at the climax. I understand, but it just doesn't feel right. It feels like, there was definitely some cheese in there, like whenever we were all on like the balcony and shooting at the other people. Obviously they would have just surrounded us. There's like no shot that they wouldn't have, but sure, I'll let that slide. It's not terrible by any means, but I feel like it definitely could have been just a lot better. The only reason why I'm like sort of all right with it is because I know that the next season is coming this year. So that kind of, I was like, okay, let's see what they cook up. I just can't imagine that Inho or the front man would have gone this far just to betray them once again. It just didn't feel right. There were so many scenes of them showing his face and he actually looked like okay, maybe I have been wrong. Maybe this is fucked up. And then they just throw that all away, is what we're supposed to think. I don't think he's completely insane. I don't know why he killed Jungbae. I think that was fucked up. Shouldn't have happened. Don't like that. I don't like that at all. But I still feel like there's plenty room for the front man to still turn, and I feel like that's just right. I feel like that's how it should be. There's no way that he's like the guy, right? Like there's no way that the big man, there's gotta be someone bigger than the front man. It'd be kind of cool if he turned and then the next season we're trying to figure out how to really stop it with the help of someone who's on the inside. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. And then we go back into the game. I don't know. There's so much that they could do. I just feel like the front man isn't completely bad as we're supposed to think he is. I think the next season will continue and we will get an unsuspecting team up and shut down the games once and for all. But with that being said, I also do think that we're gonna get a new one. I feel like they're going to do a new version of the games. I think they're gonna shut down the big games, but then they're gonna start from scratch. I feel like it's gonna be like, oh, they're back. It's a new underground thing. You know, I don't think the games are over with, even after they shut it down. As far as this season goes, I feel like the storyline in the actual games was a lot better than the first, if I'm being honest. Sure, it's been a while since I've seen it, but it really made me feel like I was there and included, and it was very nice. I liked it. I don't know what it is about it, but I just like the characters, and I like how you get to, like, while you're watching it, you kind of choose on who you want to win, and all that is just so cool. It's the same as reality TV, but, you know, more messed up and under terrible circumstances. I hope the rest of the characters make it out for the most part, other than the weird religious girl and some other weirdos. But I hope that, like, the main characters, I hope they don't, like, just kill them off to kill them off. Yeah, that weird mythology girl, I don't know. I didn't vibe with the curse on Mama and the gang. Thanos was kind of funny. I think they were both shitty, but good antagonists. Characters, killed it. Plot, killed it. Ending, could have been better, but not the worst. I just felt like the gunfight was a drag, and we knew the direction it was going, but it just wouldn't get there that fast. The games also were very good. They were just as intense, if not more intense, than the first one. I thought the games were very cool. Also, the voting process, I wanted to shout out to my screen so many times, like, bro, there is barely any skill with these games. We're toasted in the next one if we have to play it. If I was Gian, I would have said, like, the games I played, it was pretty much all luck. And look at me. I'm not strong. I don't look fast. It's literally all luck. So let's get out of here and you can join back. That's kind of how I see it, but whatever. I'm sure you already watched it, but if you haven't and you finished this video, there's so much I left out. I mean, I really didn't even go into like any of the characters, like really. So definitely go watch it. A rating, I would give it a strong 7 out of 10. For a TV show, I would give it a strong 7 out of 10.